A few things about me. I'm divorced. I'm famously divorced. People keep thanking me. Yeah, exactly.
They don't know why. They just remember. Remember that they want to be in here.
What the hell are they?
They're us, that's all. There's no more room in hell.
What?
This is something my granddaddy used to tell us. You know Macumba? Voodoo. Granddad was a priest in Trinidad. He used to tell us, when there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth.
Recorded 15th of September 2024.
Here, so there's one thing. First things first, okay? We are going to be making a donation to charity. The entire month's patron is going to charity, which is worth precisely 4 of the tickets to this horrendous event. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think. Let's not start with that.
Okay, fine. All right, let's start a different way then. All right, hello and welcome to Celtic Ligers.
Yeah.
This is Gareth Liger, and that's James Liger, and then joining us is Mark Liger. Yeah. Hello, Mark.
The Liger Cub.
Yeah.
The Scrappy Doo of the clique.
Mark runs a comedy gig in Cork City called Test Tube Babies.
Yeah, it's
a little like the gig we're about to go on to. But anyway, if you want to, free thinking comedy that makes you freaking laugh, then check out Test Tube Baby.
No holds barred.
If anyone, just in case any like right wingers or hate listening to this, it's on. I'll be in Collins every third Tuesday of the month. You can find me, and I don't know, camp out my night or whatever you want to do.
Oh, you think this is fucking funny, do you? Oh, you're going around out there just like a fucking robot. No, what's really funny is there's only 2 fucking genders, you fucking queer. We're already off to a great start. I'm just like,
So this is a Vice-style episode of Celtic Ligers.
Yeah. This is an NPR special.
Yeah, on the Down and Dirty comedy night called Comedy Unleashed. I think people who know the show have heard us talk about Comedy Unleashed. Who's the guy we like? The Show Me the Way to Ancapistan guy.
The singer, he wasn't there. That was kind of
Dominic Frisby.
Dominic Frisby, star, a regular. Who else?
Reginald D. Hunter does it?
Yeah, he's been on it.
Unfortunately, he does. The other one is the kind of, what the fuck? He's like Iranian and Italian, and he calls himself the only pro-life comedian. We like him as well. He's very funny.
Yeah, he's class. And of course, regular star Graham Linehan. The only venue that will allow him to perform.
Truly.
So, we found out that they were doing a Irish tour, a 3-day Irish tour
to celebrate 9/11.
Yeah, and
I'd
say about 10 different people sent me the link and said, "Can we go to this?"
So all of our listeners,
definitely some of our listeners. So, who are they to judge? You know?
Yeah, you're complicit.
Yeah. But also...
So we wrestled. You could hear it live on the podcast. We wrestled with the idea of even going because it was like, there's no fucking way.
Yeah.
Because it was sponsored by Gript.
And we were like, no. Let me just put down a narrative here.
Yeah.
That, we were wrestling with it. Should we go? Should we not go? Then Gareth moved to England, so he can no longer go. And the discussion changed to... But you should definitely go. You should go, James. I can't make it, but you should go. It'd be really good for the podcast.
Well, and the other justification as well for our heroes, Chapo Trap House, when they would go to CPAC, which was a conservative conference, or the RNC, or all of these places that were hideous. And then recently, when they went to the DNC, and I was like, well, they didn't get in, but they were there anyway. And, or do you remember the best one when they went to, what's that fucking festival? Do you remember there was a festival in New York that Hillary Clinton performed at? And it was called like the Ozymandias Festival.
Oh, yeah.
Ozzy Fest. A festival for ideas. A must-listen episode of Chapo Trap House. Episode 230. A colossal wreck.
And it was all amazing. And I just thought that those are great. Like the whole podcast is about cataloging the freaks in Ireland. And you absolutely like, and this is such a confluence of all of the things that the podcast is about. And it would be like, look, we have to go to it, but ultimately we're gonna find a way to make it right, hopefully.
And it was so good.
It was so
It
good.
was completely
It was so good, Gareth.
We haven't told Gareth about any of this, but it was insane. Completely insane. So there were three. The start of is there were 3 dates announced. Lucan, Drogheda, and Dalkey. And we were like, what's the scariest gig to go to? So we chose Drogheda. And then I booked the tickets, and immediately we get a bounce back thing that's like, due to bullies and protesters,
The woke
the
mob.
woke mob, we've had to cancel our Drogheda gig, but we've rebooked it in Clondalkin. So,
And there were 2 events. They rebooked it. They were like, you can either claim your ticket you can get a refund, you can reclaim your ticket for this event in Clondalkin, or the next day they were going to do a Q&A with Graham at 1 p.m. in Irish Town, which is...
And I swear, sorry, just a little interjection there. They also referred to it as an intimate. That was a word that they used within the description of it. A more intimate affair with Graham Linehan.
yeah. You get to...
So we're spoiled for choice then. We were just like,
It was
which one do we go to?
Yeah. But we chose Clondalkin. We felt like going to the proper comedy night was the best.
Yeah.
And also, like, it's penance. The place where you'd be the most scared, you know?
Why is that?
Can't have too good a time at the comedy event with the, racists at it.
Yeah. So Mark came up from Cork City.
Also, sorry. You said, oh, why do you think Clondalkin is scarier? Clondalkin has like a refugee center burned down every fucking week. It's the fucking scariest place that you could have possibly gone to look at this
It
thing.
also has
When they said Drogheda, we were like, Drogheda is scary. But then it was like when they said Clondalkin, I was like, holy shit.
The crazy thing,
they
though,
topped it immediately.
When we were driving out to it, it was like Clondalkin and Lucan are so close together. They're so nearby. So it was weird to kind of, like, just from a promoter point of view, it was strange to kind of cannibalize your own market that way.
Yeah, it really was. To have 2 gigs next to each other.
But I guess there's just that much of a demand. Jesus.
Clondalkin also has all gun crime in Ireland, I think. Like, every time you hear about someone getting shot, it's in Clondalkin. Drogheda is like,
so, like,
if you hear about someone getting cut up, or like blended in a Vitamix or something.
Exactly.
But Clondalkin is, there's more gun crime.
So can you tell me as well, we gotta need to keep going with the story from start to finish, obviously. Well, okay, the next element of the story is like so you which event did you choose in the end? You went to Clondalkin.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Well, I wanted us to talk about the venue.
Yeah.
The venue, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So...
Well, the venue, they didn't release the name of the venue until, like, a day or a night before the gig, really, did
they?
Yeah.
That caused us a lot of trouble.
Because it just gave, like, a general area. It just said, like, Newlands Cross. And then when you put in Newlands Cross, it leads you to, like, what hotel? It looked like a chain hotel.
A Maldron Hotel.
Yeah. And then we went into the Maldron being like, it's so embarrassing to have to go up to the reception and be like, hi, is there a free thinking comedy event on here?
Yeah.
And they're like, no.
Yeah, absolutely not. But
See, I love comedy. Who's playing? And then you go, oh, don't worry about it. Just some guys.
just free thinkers. Don't worry about it. You're too close-minded. If you needed to know, you'd know already. But
For real.
then it turned out it was in a different hotel. The address email went to my spam folder. So
It was a race. We were hoping to be
So-
there early enough to watch everyone spill in, but
yeah,
I think it worked out fine. Honestly, I don't know if I would have wanted to be there any longer.
yeah.
I love that. Like, we're not even at the comedy having started, and I'm already like, this is so fucking funny already.
Yeah.
Like, just-
So then, what was the name of the hotel that we ended up going to?
It was like the Louis. It's beside Joel's, the restaurant Joel's, which
Yeah.
me and my family used to go to Joel's every Christmas Eve for dinner. I was sick outside there as a child. I think it was the Louis Fitzgerald Hotel or something.
Or something like that.
And they kept thanking, like Aidan Killian kept thanking them throughout the event. It was so funny. They were like, you guys put us up. Thanks so much to the Louis, whatever. Thanks so much to the hotel. Thanks so much. And you could just tell, like, if I were them, I'd be like, please stop naming us. Please stop naming the hotel. Don't make them think that we'll have every event. Please.
Yeah.
Well, like when Aidan Killian, like, we have mentioned him before. I was introduced to him through this podcast in 2021 when he's like the storyteller, which when a comedian says that, it means they're a bad comedian.
Yeah.
And he has to go around and tell his stories regardless of lockdown restrictions. So he's sneaking in and out of the country, talking about freedom and liberty. But I looked him up because I was reading out the things to Zainab. And
let's
then,
just.
one of the
I
things.
know.
Yeah.
Wait, there's one more.
Yeah.
I think it's a good arc here. Right?
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I'm just excited. I'm
I
sorry.
know. I just.
It's very exciting.
There's a lot of good beats to this story, I think. You know? So then we turn up, The gig said doors at 7, gig starts at 8. We turned up at 8.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, Mark, but it was a real effect walking into that room.
Yeah.
Like, the atmosphere
Yeah.
was crazy.
Yeah, it was weird, man. It smelled like kind of grandmother's perfume. Like it smelled middle-aged. And there was like guys wearing cowboy hats. There was a woman wearing a t-shirt with like a big photo of like an ultrasound on it. And it said, all animals are created equal. Some are created more equal than others. And it was just a really bizarre place to be.
Yeah.
Right off the bat.
It was like a wedding, but for like the freakiest people you know.
Yeah, what was the age range like? And how many people were there? Was the place full?
It was packed
I'd say
out.
Oh, fuck me.
Yeah, it was like, there were like 70, I'd say 70 to 100 people.
Yeah.
Ah, shite.
Yeah, I was
Not
hoping,
good.
because they said that this venue was twice the capacity of the cancelled venue, and I was like, okay, we're going to find out that the cancelled venue was like 30 max, you know? But no, it was upsettingly sizable, I would say.
Oh yeah, it was a big room, and they put up a divider,
Yeah.
so like it felt full as well.
It did.
you
It
know?
did feel full, and
Yeah.
like it was. Yeah, the noise really carried, I would say.
Yeah. And then
That's so fucking upsetting. I know, but so with the makeup of the room, I was asking about the age, but it's like white, you know.
It was
Yeah.
pretty mixed,
Men,
I would
women.
say.
yeah, big age range.
Big age range, which was surprising. Probably more men than women. And any woman that was there, it was like a lot of, you could just see like their husbands explaining stuff to them, like just really talking at them the whole time. Like in between acts and at the breaks and stuff, you would just hear conversation, and you're like, "Well, what a tough existence this must be," you know.
Yeah. Nationality wise, there were a lot of people from England there.
Yeah,
We
a
had a
lot of
few
Northerners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I think
people
a lot
come
of
down
Drogheda
to-
people.
Yeah. And then we sat at the very front row. We thought that would be the best place to sit.
I cannot believe he sent me the picture, and I was like, did he walk up and take a picture of the stage? And then he's like, are you sitting in the front row? And he's like, I'm sitting in the front row. I was like, you're within spitting distance of this fucker.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It was
And
crazy.
it was really intense.
It was intense. I was like, I've never been so tense for so long, you know?
Yeah.
They had 2 breaks, and I was really glad that they did, because I don't think I could have handled just being tensed the whole time.
No, it was wild. Like, I felt like, you know the way people at normal comedy gigs, they're afraid to sit at the front. You know that thing?
Yeah.
It was like that. It was like that feeling.
Pretty much. I have my fingernails are currently painted, and I was really nervous that they would. That they would.
I love the idea, like that they. I was just gonna say, I was like, was there? I was about to go, God, and you know, you must have been worried because like they might recognize you from comedy. I was like, these people aren't aren't comedy. They are like just. They'd never recognize you in a million fucking years.
Although it's interesting you say that, Gareth.
Yeah.
No.
There was one comedian.
Yeah.
No.
But then other guest stars included John McGurk, obviously.
Yeah, John McGurk was there. And
You are joking.
And then
really excitingly,
recognized.
Gareth. I was doing some sleuthing. So James went to the bathroom, and then we were sat beside this couple. They're maybe in their 50s. Well, we learned later on that the man was 57. But he was on his phone, and I was just kind of like, I don't know why. I just looked over his shoulder, and I said, I'm going to read what he's texting. And he was texting multiple group chats, and he was like telling them all, like, we're sat beside Herman Kelly. Do you know who Herman Kelly is?
Yes.
Yeah.
We were
like,
sat 2 seats away from Herman Kelly.
The president of the Irish
He's
Freedom
the leader
Party.
of the. Yeah.
The president and founder of the Irish Freedom Party. Yeah. And he was so he was so excited to see him. It was so funny.
Jesus.
There was a point where he like lifted up his phone to get a selfie with his wife, but it was clearly the purpose of it was to have Herman Kelly in the background. You know, like he was kind of trying to nonchalantly get a photo with his hero. It was so grim. Also, Herman Kelly's a crazy name to have for a group of people that are like constantly trying to avoid Nazi allegations. To be named Herman is just insane. It's crazy. Why would you?
It's also funny because he looks like Herman Munster.
He was so well dressed and he was so presentable. Like we were saying afterwards, he kind of just looks like he'd be in Sinn Féin. Like he just is wearing a suit, no tie. He looks absolutely like he could be in the doll. You know, he's completely. If you didn't know, you would think that he's just another respectable. He's not like a visible headbanger, you know.
Yeah, he was the most normal looking person in the room.
Definitely.
No, I'm really glad. Like, I'm really glad I didn't go because I'm online enough to know who all these fucking people are. So I'd just be in the room, just like, and if I saw all those people enjoying that, I would. I'm already like, I'm not joking. It would be like, the next day somebody would have to be watching me 24 hours.
I don't know about you, but the next day I felt hungover. Like I was like, it had like a physical effect on me this night.
I had so many people were asking me about it, and I was like, I can't. Like I really like it's too much. I'm saving it up. I don't want to go on about it over and over and over again. But it was kind of taxing.
The National Party showed up at Cork one time to protest outside the library, and I went there, and it was like a standoff for about. You were there as well, Mark, and we were there for like 3 hours, like screaming at these people. And then once you left, you were just like, you'd be walking through the English market in Cork, and then normal people be walking past you, smiling. You'd be like, "What the fuck are you smiling at?" Or you'd just be like, are you walking to the protest? Are you coming from that thing? Were you one of the guys I saw? And it's just like, everybody is suspicious. And it's like, it took me like a week to get over it, where suddenly like, I didn't realize that much hatred existed. And then Zainab was at the same thing. She only lasted like, half an hour. She's like, I have to go. Like, I can't be. Because these guys were like smiling and marching back and forward and calling everybody pedophiles, and and they were like, they were hideous on the outside and inside. and just like being in their presence and knowing that they existed, and that so it was a demonstration that had like, let's say 100 people, and then a fucking counter demonstration had 100 people. It was like, if it was that they were, as if we outnumbered them. Remember, like in the repeal in the 8th, when you're marching down the street and you see those little pathetic, pro-life demonstrations, and you're like, yeah, fuck you, buddy. But then when you see them and you're just like, holy shit, not only there's much of them as there is of us, and then I feel like we're getting outnumbered by these cunts as well, and it's just, it's scary,
Yeah. Also, behind us, do you remember who was behind us, Mark?
It was kind of, I thought they were on the same mission as us.
Yeah.
Do you mean that?
They were like sort of like they, them looking people.
Yeah.
No, they were like blue hairs. They were kind of, they looked like, just like emo kids.
Yeah.
They were full on blue hair, they, them. Like, but they were loving it.
They loved it, yeah. And they kept like telegraphing punchlines and stuff, which I found interesting because it kind of suggested to me like, oh, these are hack bits, Like I didn't even even if you were in this community, these are kind of like overdone and overplayed, But to me, it was all fresh and exciting. To me, it was all it was all great stuff. To me.
All right, so like, when did the gig start? When you showed up, it was 8:00, and then did it start on time, or did it like,
I think it started around 8:15 because I remember looking at my watch a few times, and it was one where like I really needed to get a pint beforehand. I was really nervous, and like there is a sense of community. I would say like people were chatting to each other in the queues, and they didn't necessarily know each other, and everyone's kind of having a nice time. And I don't know if they all know each other from like the same WhatsApp group, but this is truly, it was like
Telegram group.
Generally it was a real like bonding opportunity for a lot of these people. It was like a online meetup, it was odd.
Yeah,
it's like when Newgrounds met up in like London or something,
Generally, it was like Magfest, meet and greet fest, where like Shawn Mendes was a 16-year-old boy that people would just pull up and say hello to. Did you feel spotted at any point? Did you feel like people were wondering why you were there?
I think, but that's partly because we were sat in the front row. We didn't laugh once. Or like, I think we each had like one joke that got us.
Probably,
yeah. But but then we would like
when,
go.
Graham Linehan was like, I'm like a freaking attack helicopter. James like, stop.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes they would do stuff where it was like, they would do the thing that you wanted them to do, and it would be kind of exciting,
Yeah. But then at the breaks, Mark and I would go down to the back corner, and we would just be cracking. Like we'd be taking, because you couldn't take notes during it.
Yeah.
So we go down. We'd be trying to remember what they said.
Oh my god!
Particularly what the hecklers were saying, and we were just cracking up. So I think people did notice that, like, this pattern. You know?
There's these two.
That's what I felt most spotted.
Yeah, there's a man with like long hair and painted fingernails who could be like a trans in disguise. Like,
yeah.
Well, he's got a beard. Well, these days. I'm giving them an English accent because if you're a transphobe, then I think you're culturally English. That's what
a lot of them were English.
Okay.
Yeah. Why did you feel spotted?
No, there was one point where I went to the bar and I ordered a pint and I was very on edge, and the lady behind the bar said, "Oh, I like your nails," and I was like, "What?" Like it kind of got me out of I was in a bit of a daze, and she said, "I like your nails," and part of me was like, "Keep that fucking down." Like I'm not trying to be outed here.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think I did. No. I think as you say, like when we were at the back and we were very visibly, I think we got the odd look, or it was just like people that were. It might have just been their regular deranged look, you know. But I think we did catch
deranged face.
Yeah. But it was strange, man. Do we start off with Do we get into the show?
Oh yeah. Well, first things, I also
Yeah.
want to say this other thing, which is that James sent me the picture, and to my eyes, and also I've seen videos online since, of like Dublin loves Graham, and you get to see what the venue looks like. And so what it looks like is, it looks like where Golfgate took place, basically. It's like a hotel room with like that kind of ornate red and yellow carpet patterned. And then this is what I saw. You can correct me if I'm wrong. A makeshift stage, and then they put up one of the most hideous-looking silver curtains to back the thing. And then they have their sign, which is also one of the hideous signs in comedy, and that is quite a feat, given his stand-up has like the worst picture. You know, but it's like Comedy Unleashed, and it's got like that stupid cowboy saloon font that comes with Word or something. And it's
it has the look of Unhinged. Do you remember Conor McDonough Flynn's gig in the Halfpenny?
Oh my god, yes,
It has this. It's the same font as that.
Yeah. So that was that. Oh, the other thing that has to be read out just now before we get into it is that tweet that everybody was going nuts about. Have you heard this one, Mark?
Is that what the screenshot that you sent in?
Yeah. I'll read it out here.
That was so good.
I sent it to Roger, and we were having a good old laugh at it. So a guy called Gareth, no relation, says, 30 years ago, I was laughing my arse off at Glinner's masterpiece, Father Ted. Tonight, I picked him up from his mum's house, bought him a McDonald's, and dropped him at his hotel to start off 3 nights of comedy that I've arranged. Life is weird. And clearly what this guy is trying to do is like, look what the trans people have done to Graham Linehan. Look how sad they've made his life. And it's like, you're the one organizing it, man. He's like, you know, it's just like, but it's like that, you know, The Simpsons, you know, who's that? Like, Superintendent Chalmers is at home right now crying like a little girl.
Well, I'll tell you something that's not so funny. Right now, Superintendent Chalmers is at home crying like a little girl.
It's like, you're not supposed to say this, man. This is your guy. You're making him look like absolute shit. You know?
That's so funny. I read it as him being like, I can't believe my life is like this, that I'm hanging out with my number one favorite celebrity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was like, this is so cool, I'm getting a McDonald's, and his mom is really nice. Like, I thought it was...
Yeah. So the first act was
I guess the host.
Aidan Killian.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
the host, the MC.
Who, just from a comedic standpoint, in terms of like the gig, did not fulfill his duties as an MC at all. You know, he was really like trying to show off in front of the other comedians and just doing a set. That's probably the worst thing that he did, I would say.
I know about Aidan Killian. Aidan Killian, like we said, he was the lockdown comedian who would go around being the storyteller and the spiritual guru shit. And then he put up in his paragraph, he was like, on his usual shit, he goes like, so I was reading it to Zainab, and it was like, he performed at a peace festival in the Middle East, and Zainab was like, that's Israel, because only Israel would do a peace festival. That's the stupidest thing. And then you look it up, and sure enough, it was fucking Tel Aviv. But he knows enough to hide that, because otherwise it looks like complete bullshit. And he, in his background as well, he performed regularly with fucking Bowman, one of the guys, you know, Albie Phil Bowman.
A.B. Philip Bowman.
Yeah. He performed with him, and they did those type of things like Jesus, the Guantanamo years. I don't know if but basically it's in that sort of orbit of like, I'm like a truth teller. I'm saying these things that everybody knows. And then throughout COVID, it's like just this slow diversion until eventually it's like, I'm just saying the truth, aka vaccines give you autism, and men are men and women are women, you fucking and it's like, oh god. And
he was still doing the COVID stuff.
That was the craziest bit. Yeah they're obsessed with masks.
Yeah, still
except
like
muzzles, fucking
so his opening bit was so about how it was that story about how he wanted to get back into Ireland without
without a medical procedure, without a PCR test.
Yeah. Do you have the COVID test? So he's like talking about how he tried to get a plane, and then he tried to get a boat.
Yes.
And then I'd actually never heard this bit. He he paid some guy to drive him in a lorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he was doing this. I couldn't follow this bit, but I think he was trying to be like a migrant.
Yeah.
That was kind of the implication, I think, that it was... Yeah, that he was just like... It's like, isn't this mad that I would be like a migrant?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I was
He
doing
sort
what
of going
those
like,
guys
I'd
do.
first ever do it.
But like
Yeah.
that was the part that was throwing me though, is that you're like saying because he didn't want to take a COVID test, not even a
Yeah,
vaccine.
not even the vaccine.
He just didn't want to take a test.
Well, it's a medical.
Yeah.
It's a medical procedure, is what he kept saying.
It's
I
not a
shouldn't have to go through a
medical
medical procedure to
procedure.
get into the country that I live in, the country that I love. And there's always
Yeah.
that sort of rhetoric where it's like, I love this country. I love this country. He did like the very first thing he said was like, "Good evening and welcome to Comedy Unleashed, sponsored by Gript," which made me wince. Like that, like he really made it.
Yeah.
He was really like, Gript is at the forefront of this, and I was like, "Fuck, man! Like money has gone to Gript here."
We're giving money.
Yeah.
Money is going towards a trans charity, and we're looking at trans harm reduction. We are going to.
We'll make
This
it
is
right.
our journalism. We'll try and make it right. I'm sorry, okay, but also we had to. We fucking had to. Okay.
He started off. He was like, he's like, "You're here at Comedy Unleashed, free thinking comedy, which means you're all a bunch of racists, homophobes, transphobes, misogynists." And I think that kind of made me. I was laughing a bit at that because I was like, he was saying like, people think we're racist, and I'm like, you are, like you guys are homophobes. It was so funny.
Yeah, like I think everyone in that room would be like, yeah.
Yeah,
I think
that is why we're here.
There's some of them that I think if you were to ask some of them like, are you transphobic? I think a lot of them would say yeah. I think a lot of them would be quite open with that at the very least.
No, they would be like,
100%.
are you like, if somebody was like, are you anti-trans? They'd be like, yeah. But if you said, are you a transphobe? It's like, define that. I'm not afraid of them. I'm not fucking afraid of them. Okay?
Yeah.
Interesting you say that because that was one of his later bits.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Was remember the bit where he was like, I'm not a homophobe.
Oh yeah, he's like,
Right.
I'm married or something. He's like, I've got a wife. But I hope
Yeah.
I hope I don't meet the man that I would have sex with. Like there's a serious feeling of like bi curiosity in a lot of the material.
Definitely. He was like, I'm not homophobic. I'm not afraid of gay guys because, I don't want to have sex with them only because I'm married.
Yeah.
So that would essentially be like, that would be cheating.
Yeah, I wouldn't be unfaithful to my wife. Even though then he was like, my wife's a bit younger than me and she's like kind of poly. Which I thought was a weird one to just reference in that room where everyone is like in their 50s.
Yeah.
No, they're all swingers.
I guess.
It also sort of undercuts like, it just made him seem like a cook. You know what I mean? He's just like, and like he would really linger in on this idea because he was like, he told this story about how he met his wife, which was it was crazy. Do you remember he was like, it was during COVID and we couldn't go anywhere, so we went to the fairy garden in Galway.
Yeah.
And this was like when it really opened up.
Galway, that sounds
And he goes,
that sounds like not necessary. But I was going to say that's unusual for a fucking weird hippie fascist to go to Galway. Anyway, sorry.
But he goes, we went to the fairy garden, and he goes, and no, that's not where
I know.
Leah Varadkar
Yep.
and Roderick O'Gorman
Yep.
go. And then he like minced around the stage. He
He
did like a mince. It was crazy.
He was like, and people loved this. People were like, they were going wild for this. He was like, it's not
I was
where Roderick O'Gorman and it's not a field where Roderick O'Gorman and Leah Varadkar stand around and go, "What is a woman? I don't know. What is a woman? What is a woman?" It was really mental.
That was the first big pop of the night.
It was a big, and also before when he was like, we couldn't go anywhere, and then people shouted out the name of a pub,
the Celt.
the Celt. Yeah, they were like, presumably, so I don't know, is that some sort of like anti-lockdown pub? Did they just stay open?
I guess so. Yeah.
Because it was like there were deep cuts, that you could have made in this
The
crowd.
heckles were crazy as well. Like we'll get into that later.
They're so-
the heckles were crazy.
they're so like, you're talking about that with like trans stuff. It's like they're sitting there, they're at their computer, they're posting to each other, and they're just seething about trans people, and they're getting so fucking mad. And so then they come to the night where it's like, yes, they're going to say it. They're going to say it. And you could just I can just imagine them there, just like in their chair, their legs going up and down. And then he goes, yeah, you know those fucking gays who don't know what a woman is? I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
There were moments where, when I think you had said it about your man Frisbee, where people get so awkward during the singing bits, and then he just says like climate change is a hoax, and they all like explode in this kind of forced laughter. The guy beside me, who I think was really excited that Herman Kelly was there, there were times where anything kind of like a bit anything about like trans people or anything like a bit migranty, he would be like, ha, 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 ha. Really,
Yeah.
like
isn't
really
it funny? Like, just that, like, clapter was a thing that was created to describe the noises that the liberals in Jon Stewart's audience made about, Bush. But now it's like the opposite. It's like not the opposite end of the spectrum, but it's like far right clapter, which is like basically sounds to me like Tory noises. When they're in the House of Commons.
Yeah. It was like barking.
Yeah,
it was like a dog barking.
Is there any other Aidan? Should we just do all of Aidan Killian's bits? Because obviously he was on and off throughout the night. There was one bit where he was talking about his wife getting pregnant. That was insane.
Yeah.
And
that was insane.
He was like, this is when he looked to us. This is our first kind of interaction for the night. He was like, she doesn't take the pill because obviously she doesn't take the pill, and he doesn't like condoms because obviously he doesn't like condoms. And she was like, no, baby, we'll just use the window method. And he gestured towards me and James, obviously the most virile looking men in the room, I would say.
Yeah.
And he says,
you
guys,
you all had the most hair, probably.
Maybe. No, honestly, there was a few like people my age, and it was upsetting to see.
Sorry, I thought they were all bald, but anyway, spiritually bald.
Some real like rise and grind influencer types, like Sigma males, Andrew Tate fans, I would say, like that kind of vibe off them. But yeah, he looks just like, you're familiar with the window method? And I just kind of shook my head. It's crazy how like weak I became, I didn't like, James was far more stoic than me.
He was so intense. Like when his gaze like crossed you, it was like a physical force. I don't know, like he's just so freakishly intense.
He was the most intimidating of them. Like the others felt like comedians. He felt like he just felt a bit more insane. He felt a bit more like it was coming from the heart.
And like we weren't laughing, and like I literally had visions of him following us to our car. I don't know why. I could just imagine him being like, "What the fuck were you doing there? Not laughing."
Yeah.
I always imagine him like he's almost like, I would imagine him being like trying to be conciliatory, as in like, I'm trying to find out what the other side is, but then being just as intense as if he was about to attack you. So like, what was funny, I just noticed back there that you weren't laughing, but like, what's your point? What's your take? I just wanted to know what's going on with you. And then it's like, it can lead to the exact same place with you getting your head caved in. With the fucking
it is interesting.
That was the energy.
There was a real intensity to him, and also just like I would never want to have a conversation with him. It just seemed so, erratic. But then he was saying, how his wife wanted a home birth because she didn't trust hospitals, but for like really insane reasons. It was,
Do you remember why? It was like, she didn't want to go into the hospital, and like, you think it's gonna be like the antiseptic or but she was like, she doesn't want to go to the hospital because of the lights.
Yeah,
the fluorescent lights,
the junky lights. He said.
Oh yeah. And
God.
That got a pop. Junky lights got a big pop. Like a guy behind, and a guy behind us repeated the line. Like love. Love the language of it.
Well, he's a storyteller, He's got away with words. There's a certain prose to him, but it was also obviously because like they'd make her wear a mask and stuff. He's like, they're making women wear masks during their births. And then he goes on to explain how he's like, he had to like birth his child, or what is it, deliver his child.
Yeah. Every so often he'd drop in like a really harsh, weird line. You know, like Junkie Lights is within, you know, the ideology or whatever. But he was like, I was delivering the baby and I looked and I saw this big purple hard thing.
Yeah.
And then he turns to the audience and goes, did I leave my cock in there? And it was like such harshness.
It was
you know what I mean? Like,
so vulgar. And I don't think they liked the vulgarity. Like, ultimately,
they didn't like the vulgarity.
Yeah.
Well, I bet you the other thing is like the thing where you go like, you know, they over-sexualize children to such a degree that when he's talking about a birth and he mentions his cock, then they're going to be like, no, like I don't want that in this joke.
Maybe.
It should be nowhere near that. But you never did you explain what windowing was or whatever the fuck that was before you know?
Window.
Oh, the window method. It's
sorry,
just
yeah.
like
It's like
depending on the time of the period cycle or whatever, you know.
Oh.
Yeah, that you just have sex with them
that's...
outside of their ovulation. And then he made a joke. He was like, "I put the slimy stuff." Like he's talking about like the afterbirth or I don't know, the pre-birth.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I put the slimy stuff on her belly. Maybe that's what I should have done in the first place," which is just like so icky.
That's rotten. That's just not nice.
Yeah.
You know. Like and then the other like no, but you're saying that with the window thing because when he said that, this is all feeding into the same thing. But to me, I thought he was talking about. Oh, did you ever hear about the fucking Spider-Man? These guys know what I'm talking about. Imagine that he's like an Irish Def Jam comedian. Do you know what I mean? Like window fucking. These guys know what I'm talking about. These guys know what I'm talking about.
No, he wasn't really doing that.
No, it was just a genuine like. It was just a comedic technique, I would say, just asking the audience a question to keep it moving. Because that is one thing that I noticed throughout the night, except for one act, obviously. There is a polish to these people. They are oddly competent performers, and they are better public speakers than you would like them to be. Especially Aidan Killian in particular, because I'm like, where did this man get the stage time to get this kind of confident and solid?
He's been doing it for years, man. He's been doing it since like 2004 or something, like or at least 2009 anyway.
Though? Like,
he does like, but like, there's like, because when I'm in Galway, because I'm from Galway, that was very common. You would have like, you wouldn't really have like stand-up stuff. There'd be people doing like one-man shows where they go up and basically do Edinburgh style shows, but like without. Like from what the sounds of what you're saying, like without the kind of cohesion, I suppose. Like you'd be watching like some of these one-man shows and they'd just be talking about insane shit. Like it's the storyteller thing, you know, where it's like it's not relatable. It's just this kind of like flight of anyway, whatever. I don't know how to put it. Go on, sorry.
But he didn't. We know, like he didn't have an hour. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, because like the first, he would have been on stage maybe 3 or 4 times. And the first 15 minutes that he did, which was all about like masks again, so like it's just dated at this point. It's like 3-4 years since we've had to wear masks, and he's talking about masks. And then when he came back up on stage, it was like this is all significantly weaker. Like everything that he spoke about after that point, it was like quite poor and didn't even really hit in this room, you know. And it was interesting because like he didn't really. As an MC, he didn't really like warm up the room in any way, you know. He didn't really talk to the crowd. There was one point where he talked to the crowd and said, "How did you hear about this event?" And this woman says, "We found out about it on Twitter today." Yeah, there was one thing that upset me, just on like a personal level. Aidan Killian kept referring to a Comedy Unleashed as alternative comedy, and then it was like an alternative comedy night. And I was like, no, stop. Stop.
Don't let them take that term.
You've already taken the flag, please.
So that was Aidan Killian. He invites up the first act then.
Yeah, the first act.
Yeah.
Jonathan Cogan.
Do you remember? Yes.
Kogi.
There was a show called Headliners.
Which is like it's kind of a paper review show on GBN.
GB News. Yeah, I remember I saw that because Dominic Frisby used to host that, and then this guy must have taken over.
Very young man, or at least young looking.
And Jewish, as you said.
And he opened up saying that he looks like Ed Miliband. Just for the listeners at home, I suppose. He looks quite like Ed Miliband, actually, yeah. And, like, the Irish audience kind of laughing at that, but I feel like this is the first instance I think of an act forgetting where they were. And, like, he did it a couple of times where it was like, I think you think you're in England, and your kind of weird colonial mindset probably makes you think that Ireland is still in the UK. Like, I think you're forgetting that you're in a different country, and nationalism here, a lot of it is born out of dislike of your country, so...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's a real bang of that, of like a lot of the performers, and some explicitly thinking they were in the UK.
Yeah. There was one point where Jonathan Cogan said, I think it was him anyway, I'm pretty sure it was him, he said, were you guys upset when the Queen died? And the room was, like, the vibe of the room
where
was...
the fuck do you think you are? You know what I mean? Like, he was earnestly asking.
It was so weird. It was so strange.
Was he upset? Did he go on to say he was upset?
I think he was sort of being like, I was, but I was still edgy about it.
Yeah, he did some, like, Diana jokes and stuff like that, and I don't even really remember. Like, the tricky thing is that a lot of these people they clearly have sets that they would have done or could just do in normal. Like, he does Top Secret. I was looking him up. He does, like, Top Secret and does, like, regular nights, you know? And then he's just like, I guess I'll do stuff about sensitivity riders for this room, you know?
Yeah.
And it's, like, so strange. Also,
there's a bit... Go on.
Just to say, like, when I was in the bathroom, so there was a break after his set, and I went into the bathroom, and I overheard two lads discussing, and they were like, oh, he really looked like Ed Miliband, didn't he? And they were like, yeah. And then he goes, he didn't really look Jewish, though, did he? He was like, I almost couldn't tell.
Yeah, he didn't have his ringlets. He didn't have his little yarmulke.
But then the bit after that, Mark, you were saying they mentioned someone else.
Simon Bird. They were like, he's kind of like Simon Bird. You know the guy from The Inbetweeners? He looks Jewish, but he's not. Or like something like that.
So they really did have tabs on who was Jewish.
Yeah, they're like, they have a list.
So when he got on stage, he was like, I look like Ed Miliband. And then he goes, that's the worst person to look like.
The worst politician to look like, yeah.
It's
apart
like,
from Hitler.
What are your priorities? Apart from Hitler. Who I like. And he goes, he's in charge of, he starts then talking about how he's in charge of
the environment.
Net zero.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And how
he's like, so he's literally in charge of nothing.
Doing nothing. Yeah. That was probably the first instance of, like, climate skepticism.
Yeah, subtle. And he goes, he then goes, there's a weird bit where it's very obvious that he was about to launch into a bit and then dropped it. Because he goes, it's a very spicy time to be Jewish.
Mm-hmm.
And then he brought up Palestine, and I think he just wasn't sure. Because then he just sort of like, you know when you can tell someone's just dropping a chunk of their set? He didn't mention Palestine again. He was like, I don't know if you give it, I don't know if anyone here cares, I'm not sure I do, sort of thing. And then he just moved on, talking about how he was Jewish. And he sort of skipped over a load a bit and then started talking about sensitivity riders.
He got
a big pop.
He got some hecklers, didn't he?
Herman Kelly, I think, heckled him.
Yeah. Really? Or at least the people beside him.
Saying what?
There was a point. There was one point where he was like, do you guys read books? And someone behind us said, difficult woman. Do you know anything about that, Gareth? I don't know.
I think that sounds like one of the books that they rip up or something. Who is it? It's like difficult woman. I'm going to look that up. some reason I'm thinking of Robin DiAngelo. Does that make sense? That wouldn't be that, or would it be like, you know?
I think it is of that style. You know what I mean? It's like
he remembers
don't
Robin
be afraid to
DiAngelo.
be difficult. So
Yeah,
I should say as
Robin
well, this guy had a
DiAngelo
really-
wrote. I actually swear to God, I was gonna say this. I was like, it sounds like Roxanne Gay, and I was like, nah, that's too old. That was like 2016. Roxanne Gay was back in, and I looked it up now, and Difficult Women is written by Roxanne Gay. That's crazy.
What a pull.
Imagine thinking about that. Imagine like Herman Kelly, an Irish man.
no, Herman Kelly didn't say that.
It
He
was
didn't
like
say
one
that.
of the
So some
weird
Brit
like
who
they
said
thems
it, or
behind
what?
us.
Yeah, just some woman in the audience. I can't remember what Herman Kelly said. Yeah, he was talking about sensitivity writers. That got a big pop. And he was talking about Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh God, are you kidding me? Is that where they like changed the words in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory recently, like Roald Dahl books to be?
Yeah.
Are you fucking joking me? Get over it.
And like,
fuck off.
But like, it's funny how online the people in the audience were. Because when he said sensitivity writers, I didn't quite get what he was talking about.
Yeah.
Like I know they
you
are,
kind of
but
half
it
know.
didn't. Like, it. He said it without any context, and everybody in the room responded. You know what I mean? Which is
so
just
sensitivity writers are
quite
like
online.
Am I wrong? Is that when you say sensitivity writers or writers? Like
writers.
Okay, so
like they rewrite books or they like change language,
I see,
problematic language.
Okay, now
but then
I know.
I will say he kind of turned it into just like a bit, you know, like I think you could do that in a non kind of right wing room, and it would go like he did a bit where he was like in Willy Wonka they changed the Oompa Loompas. You can't call them orange little savages anymore, and now they call them women from Essex. And it's just like that's just a joke, you know. That's fine. Like there's nothing crazy about that. But it's just like the initial pop of even mentioning sensitivity writers is very much so context dependent.
Yeah. Well, how did that joke finish? He was like, you can't call them orange savages. You can't call people from Essex. You can't call them like. He had another. There was like another.
He had one
like,
where it was like Augustus Sloop was enormous. And you can't call them enormous anymore. You just have to say that they're women from Essex. And then he had another one, and it was like about the everlasting gobstopper. He said that the everlasting gobstopper was once described as being like, I think just really big again. And then I think the punchline was once again, was it women
no,
from
it was
Essex?
different. It was like an untested.
Oh yeah,
thing.
that was it. Yeah, that was good.
Yes, yeah. He goes, it's like an untested product or something like that with unknown repercussions. Now you have to call it the AstraZeneca vaccine.
Okay.
Big pop.
Big pop for that. Big pop for that.
Big response for that one.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be able to name you. I remember there were 3 vaccines. I wouldn't be able to name them for you. But like, this audience were like primed.
Yeah.
That.
I love
You
it.
know
Like
what I mean?
you were saying, the idea of doing comedy unleashed as well. It's like, this is free thinking comedy. You better come here and leave your fucking sensibilities at the door. Prepare to be offended. And then the guy comes in and he goes, you know, these sensitivity writers were rewriting everything just to make it so some other people feel better. And like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Palestine, and then just sensing the energy of the room and going, oh, that's fine. I'll just edit that out. It's like, you're a sensitivity writer. You just removed that because you thought that the crowd wouldn't react positively to it, or like it would be.
Yeah. Though he actually misread the room.
Yeah, I know he absolutely did. I mean, I wasn't there, but I know that like those guys are like so primed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when Aidan Killian got back on, and I felt like this was really punching down for him. In a weird way. Like, he started talking about that night, Raiders.
Oh, yeah, it's like an open mic night in Dublin. Raiders comedy night. I don't know if it's any good. I'm sure it's fine. Like, it seems completely fine. It's generally just like first timers, from what I can tell. Like, it's very new comics that do it. And it's like a big, massive bill, from what I can tell. So it's just loads and loads of people. And they have like I guess if you apply for it, they send out a kind of automated email being like, we don't tolerate, like, racism, homophobia, blah, blah, blah. And Aidan Killian is like, one of our female comedians, because he seems to love saying that. It's like, well, they said this to a woman, you know, so like it's like how can a woman be like not woke or not it's very strange.
Yeah.
They use like this woman is just a pawn to like kind of buy them a bit more leverage. And he was like, yeah, she got sent this email, and at the end of it said jokes about Israel do not count and are actually encouraged, or some shit like that.
Yeah, it was like they don't count as anti-Semitism, but they are encouraged.
And then like the audience are like, what?
Yeah. One woman literally goes, make it make sense. Like,
it was so like they were all
she was like,
what
make it
the
make
fuck?
sense. And like people were just like, what? Like there was nearly a riot over that.
Yeah,
like,
they really
were
didn't
like
like
looking for this comedy promoter in the room nearly. Like and then Aidan Killian was like he was so sort of like, you know, anti-Semitism was like the worst form of bigotry.
Shut your fucking hole.
Yeah.
Like,
He said Holocaust denial jokes are the worst things you can do or something, but then he kind of subverted it in some way.
Yeah, but he really did seem to think that the Holocaust was like the greatest, like, you know, thing, like the most offensive thing you could ever talk about. You know what I mean? And that like by making a joke about it, he was being like incredibly edgy.
Yeah,
Jesus.
I would also like to stress that when he mentioned his daughter, he there was one kind of like throwaway comment that didn't really. I don't think it was a joke. I think he was just stating a fact, and he's like, "Yeah, you know, like obviously we're gonna have to like homeschool her because," and like he just kind of trailed off, and it was like, "Oh fuck!" Like that kind of stung a bit because I was like, "Oh bollocks!" Like that's the next gen. Like that's how we have 28, 29-year-old lads in attendance at that show. You know, like that is the next.
That girl
generation.
is fucked.
No
like
chance.
she's so fucked. It's
no
unreal.
hope, man. Yeah.
It's funny that you know the way that they hate like Paul Murphy, you know, Paul Murphy's like, yeah, my baby's called Juniper and they're they them. And then they go, you fucking sicko, and then they're like, I'm gonna homeschool my kids and I'm going to teach them that, you know, fucking yeah. Somebody come up with a joke. I'm no comedian here. I'm just a critic. I'm just sniping from the sidelines.
Okay, Mike,
what would he
let's
teach
come
them?
up with a joke for that one.
Let's come up with a cool. What would Aidan Killian teach you?
How
to play the bongos.
Yeah.
Exercising a house. Using sage or some fucking thing. That's actually not that nice because I do know somebody who was homeschooled and that is something that their parents did. So, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why you teach it. Some shit.
But we had that one act and then we had a break. And I will say that during that break, I was walking through the crowd and I just noticed that an awful lot of the people had their phone screens kind of magnified. So, like, you know when you've got like your text on WhatsApp set to like 150%. It was kind of funny. There was just like there were a lot of old people there.
Yeah.
And there was one point during the break where the guy beside me was just like talking at his wife, and he was like, Keir Starmer's after cutting millions of pounds. Keir Starmer's after cutting millions of pounds of funding to what I don't know what it was, but he was just like ranting about Keir Starmer, and she was just kind of receiving that information. Like there was no real conversation, no real dialogue. He was just getting angry about things, possibly to maybe get a conversation out of Herman Kelly. Like maybe he was just trying to show off in front of his hero, you know, like be like, I'm going to express some knowledge, and maybe Herman will talk to me about it, and we'll be able to chat. Also, just to say about Herman Kelly, I looked him up, and he studied biology in university, and then he went on to study theology, which I think is very funny. He did a science degree and then did religion.
You found all this out just by him talking next to you?
No, I did. I looked him up. I looked up Herman Kelly afterwards.
Okay, right. Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about the guy sitting next to you trying to impress Herman Kelly. I was
no.
He's just volunteering this information, you know.
Yeah.
But like, the thing I forgot to tell you, and it might still be there, Mark. You should go look for it on Patrick Street in Cork. There was a sticker that I saw. It was a big picture of Keir Starmer, and he's in front of. It's like one of the most confused stickers I've ever seen. Okay, it says hashtag 2-tier Keir, and he's standing in front of a banner that they've edited, as in like it's a Labour banner, but they've edited to say Jewish Labour. Okay, and then he says. They have a thing like when they were trying to do a peaceful vigil for Sarah Everard, the cops came down really heavily on them. But then when they were marching to try and, the Southport riots, the demonstrations, as they would call it, when people were just white English people were just trying to stand up for their rights, then the police also came down really hard. And I was like, what the fuck is that? Like, we just didn't understand. It was like, what's that in relation to Jewish labor? Because I thought like they were going to make something about like how the cops came down on the Sarah Everard thing, but then they didn't. Wait, I don't know where I was going with that. I just thought like it was such a strange one to be like the cops are noticeably heavy-handed with the Southport riots. But anyway, apparently it's 2-tier Keir. And then the other thing that makes no sense is that Keir Starmer has only been Prime Minister for a few months, so he's not actually responsible for what happened in 2021 with the demonstrations. But anyway, it's just amazing that like, I was like, who is this sticker for? And it sounds like it's for that guy.
So you think that like all news comedians were like straight white men? It's pretty clear what you presume, Gareth. Well, the first one was Jewish.
Okay. Which are the most persecuted group of people that exist in the Western world.
And then the second one is gay. So, like,
there was riots. People were throwing chairs, everything. No. They love them because they love to have like. Oh, he's gay. I didn't know that. Andrew Doyle's gay. Yeah, if he's gay, all right, but they love to go, we've got one. Okay, so you can't say we're homophobes because we have one right here. And he's making fun of himself. He gave me a pass to say that word, actually.
He's gay as Christmas and not Eid.
It was pretty funny. Aidan Gillian introduced him, and Aidan Gillian was like, this guy, they say we're all homophobic, but this guy's gay, and they try to say that he's homophobic. What is he, some sort of self-hating gay? And it's like, yeah, that's like...
literally, yes.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
But also, I don't think that... I didn't get the vibe that he was homophobic. Like, I think he's just transphobic, and they're just getting it mixed up. Like, I don't think anyone would say that he's homophobic. Based off what he said there last night, I don't think he said anything that was like anti-gay,
No. So he was Catholic. He kept saying he was Catholic.
Yeah.
But do you remember, really James, Andrew Doyle is the producer of the Dinosaur Hour for GB News, which is John Cleese's talk show.
No way.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing I was going to say. Andrew Doyle is the co-creator of Jonathan Pie.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. No, your man Jonathan Cogan, I will say, like, completely polished. Like, there's no real, not for me. Like, he kept doing that like derp face after every joke. Like, he'd be like, it was a lot of, it was pretty insufferable. What did he say? He made it. Oh man, I have the note written down of derp face Huawei. Because he made some joke about like Huawei phones, and it was like a kind of Chinese conspiracy thing, and they love that. But he was like, he said something about like, and it's like if you had a Huawei phone, and like it was getting, people loved it, people were lapping it up. But like I just find that quite irritating. But it was a perfectly polished set, like you wouldn't be like. You would see worse acts, like you've seen less competent performers.
Yeah, definitely.
And the same for Andrew Doyle was like strong.
Yeah, he was good. Like he was skilled. They had a complete contempt for the audience.
No, he truly hated them. Which I think you were saying when I was like, how do they get so polished? How do they get so good? And you're like, I think they were gigging for a long time, and then they start to lose their minds, and they pick the side of the culture war, and then they're just like, they're good technically, but they're insane mentally.
I just want to talk about Comedy Unleashed.
Is he
And
gone?
the fucking internet. He's gone. You and I might have to just finish this one out.
Maybe. Was there there wasn't anything else about Jonathan Cogan, was there?
He had there's a little joke he had about white women, his mum being a white woman.
Oh, and his girlfriend, he said his girlfriend was a drunk cunt, and the room really kind of pushed back.
Yeah.
And there was a real
They did
sense
not
of
like
like, that's anti-woman. And they're because they would kind of perceive themselves to be feminists, right? So
Yeah.
they don't like that kind of vulgar language, I guess, and also that kind of disrespect to a woman, which is very interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting just seeing where the lines were for the crowd.
Yeah, I think like even if I were one of those kind of comedians, I think I'd find it really difficult to navigate.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but then Andrew Doyle, the other one.
Evil Alan Carr.
He had two jokes, sort of, from what I remember. He had the one that was like, oh, I'm not going to mention the previous venue that pulled out.
McHugh's.
Do you remember? He was like, yeah, I'm not going to mention McHugh's. Oh, I said it. I'm not going to even say their name, not going to even say their address. Yeah, that one.
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought was reasonably funny.
Mm-hmm.
It's so embarrassing. I'm so sorry.
And then, yeah. We're sort of on to Andrew Doyle now.
Oh yeah, I'll interrupt if I can, and then if I can't, I'll just leave it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What was his other joke?
But he was talking about being a twin. And he was talking about being Catholic. And he was talking... Oh, he had some interesting kind of crowd interactions, right?
He had the best crowd interaction.
Gareth, he had a fucking insane crowd interaction. There is true contempt. So this guy really comes across as someone who like is a polished comedian who then got sucked into the culture war and became a bit insane, and now has to do these rooms where he shows very palpable contempt for the audience. Like, I don't think he likes gigging for these people. And he was asking at what, like, he just didn't like when they said anything. They would kind of contribute, and he would get kind of, maybe it's part of the character, but also it felt a bit real, where there was a real kind of irritable nature to him. And at one point he said, do you guys have Islamic fundamentalists here? And an audience member shouts out, and it felt so fucking real.
Yeah.
He said, give it 2 months. It was...
Yeah, 2 months. Like, just like, give it 2 months, man.
Any day now.
The way things are going.
Yeah.
It was really... There were just moments in the night where it felt like a hate rally. And that was up there with one of them, I would say.
And then I got the vibe as well that he really thought, like, us being Irish, we were, like, especially... Are you there, Mark?
Yeah, I was just going to, like, take it off the video in case that helped with connection.
Okay. Yeah, sure, take off the video.
And I keep it on. Or what?
Oh, is yours on? Yours isn't
it
showing for me anyway.
Oh.
You turn it off as well. Okay.
All right, cool.
Maybe that'll help. I don't know.
I felt like us being an Irish crowd, he had a particular, like, he's almost like a rung below even the normal Comedy Unleashed crowd. Yeah, but his stuff, do you think his stuff was, I don't know, I was going to say was his the edgiest of the night, but it definitely wasn't.
Well, who would you give edgiest to the night? I would give that to Aiden.
Or the last guy.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
Maybe
But
this is closing.
I think he had the snarkiest. Andrew had the snarkiest kind of vibe about him.
Yeah.
And I think kind of with that came a feeling of being quite biting and being quite cutthroat. But then the stuff he was saying wasn't really all that crazy. He had some stuff about, he kept saying, woman with a penis. And that was like the first time that we really got that pop. And I can't remember, what did he say around it?
He was like, our Prime Minister, Keir Starmer.
Oh, yeah.
He was sort of like, oh, you have a new Taoiseach, Simon Harris, what's he like? And everyone's like, meh. He goes, well, we want Keir Starmer. And here's an interview with him. And he read out this interview where someone said, can a woman have a penis? Or something like that. And then
he said
Keir
no.
Starmer wasn't able to give an answer.
He said no multiple times. He has constantly said a woman can't have a penis. He has said this multiple times.
Biology is what matters, and it's very clear they don't have a penis.
Yeah. But, not according to Andrew Doyle.
God.
Andrew Doyle, he was very mealy-mouthed.
Yeah.
And then he was sort of going off on that. And he was like, hear this joke? Which I thought was interesting, where he was like, he'd point to someone in the audience and he'd be like, oh, we fucked before.
Yeah.
He'd point to a man and like...
And make them look gay.
Yeah, it was really that. It was like, you're gay and that's humiliating. It was like, I'm using my position to humiliate you. Like, you know what I mean? By saying you're like me.
That's wild.
Like, it was probably as literally self-hating as you could get as a gay man.
Yeah. It was interesting. He
also,
was
like, they keep talking about Keir Starmer. It's like, oh yeah, so who's the Taoiseach Keir? Oh, Simon Harris. Yeah, well, anyway, Keir Starmer. It's like, get up. Like, do you have anything? Like, you know, and the only thing you can talk about is
people
British.
in the audience were also talking about Keir Starmer.
That's
so,
true.
like,
so I guess
read that right.
But like the other one is that like Starmer's government, one of the first things they did before, what was it, capping 2-child benefits and what's the fucking getting rid of the winter fuel allowance for pensioners, was to make permanent a ban on puberty blockers. Like, so it's like, what are we doing here? Like, they keep trying to say to you, no, we are transphobic. We fucking hate them. And it's like, yeah, no, you fucking don't, you stupid. And then they just still do their tight 10 about like how Keir Starmer's a fucking, he loves them. He fucking loves them.
Yeah, like they really are completely divorced from reality. Like, even the fact that they're still talking about masks as if masks pose a threat. It's like, you just live in a world where, like, the thing you're afraid of happening has already happened. You know what I mean? Like, they referred to the vaccines as a medical genocide.
Yes.
At one point.
Yeah,
that's fucked up.
That was so
it's
good.
like, that just didn't happen. Like,
but it's
you know
fucked up that they say that,
like,
and there's an actual genocide happening, and they definitely deny that is happening. You know?
Even like it's one thing to be like, oh, we don't know what's in these vaccines that they're rolling out, and like saying that could be, you know, or that it is. But like 3 years later,
we've kind of found that
everyone
there was
hasn't
nothing.
dropped dead.
Yeah,
like it just hasn't happened. But they act as if it has.
And then they
know?
like, even that was very, very revealing as well. Do you have Islamic fundamentalists over there? 2 months from now, it's like, yeah, it's coming. Don't all the things that I think are going to happen that are bad, it's definitely on the way, because the world is going to fucking hell in a handbasket.
Yeah, like they would have said that 2 months ago. They would have said that 2 years ago. But it was very strange. Andrew had some stuff at the end that I thought was really interesting, given the rest of the context of the night, where he was saying, kind of ended on this very serious note, right? Of it's all just jokes, you know, like they're trying to squash comedy, and they're trying to get rid of comedy, and it's all just jokes. Like, I don't mean anything. So he said some stuff about that was kind of like anti-trans and stuff, and then he also had jokes about his brother, his twin brother, And he's like, it's all just jokes, you know, I'm just making jokes. I don't even have a brother, or I don't even have a twin, or whatever it was. And, but like...
This Andrew Doyle said that.
Yeah, it's this crucial thing of like, I'm not questioning that you have jokes in here, but there are things that you say in between the jokes and kind of things that I have to buy into in order for these jokes to be funny. And they tell you a lot about what you believe, you know, like they are quite informative. So him saying it's all just jokes, it doesn't mean anything, is just really like it kind of counters what Aidan Killian is saying, because Aidan Killian is talking about being a truth teller and talking about like speaking truth to power and all this sort of shit, and like genuinely referring to like, it's like the puppet even masters, you're saying like
it's called Comedy Unleashed, and it's about free thinking comedy. It's like, yeah, but it doesn't fucking matter. Well, if it doesn't fucking matter, then go and perform in like the Halfpenny and do, you know, the 5 minutes that nobody objects to. So if it doesn't matter, who gives a shit? Then why?
Yeah, exactly. If it doesn't
matter, then
anything,
why don't you just be funny? You know?
Yeah. Because it's, and then also the crazy thing is like the people that come that, well, this is a Gript sponsored event, right? So maybe in the UK, if someone went into Comedy Unleashed, like they might not know the background and they just stumble in, they get flyered in, whatever. So like the audiences there could be a different sort of crowd, you know? This is a Gript sponsored event. I think most of these people were there through Gript. I would be surprised if many of them found out it, because it wasn't really that well advertised, right? So I think most people are there through Gript or through Glinner or whatever. And they don't think it's like, they're not there to just hear jokes that mean nothing. You know, they're there to have their kind of opinions solidified. And like, look, I think a big thing for comedy, and a big, like, I would have done it as a teenager, and I'd probably still do it now, where I will speak about like real events in the context of jokes that I'm told, you know, like you look at I think a nice one to like summarize the economy is that David O'Doherty joke where he's like, what is it, that the banks were too big to fail, but the country's the perfect size to fail, or that thing of but you know what I mean, like it's like that's a nice way to kind of think about. But like there's people use comedy as a way to kind of communicate their feelings, you know.
Yeah, they do. Like, your worldview is the setting, you know, like, and then no one makes up a worldview unless they're flipping it, you know what I mean? Like, it's mad when they're all like, this is the most important thing in the world, but it doesn't mean anything.
It's just
and it also means everything.
It's just made in bad faith. Like it just can't. It doesn't make any sense to believe those two things at once.
Also, they're like radically, like we read out the tweet about Graham Linehan going to the hotel, you know, but it's like, you've radically fucked up your life for this, and now you're saying, yeah, but it's all bullshit. It's like, fucking no, you really do have to believe, man, because you know you're living a radically compromised existence where you're alienated from everybody, you know.
Yeah. It's interesting you bring up Graham Linehan, because he was the next act. He wasn't the headliner. Wow. They buried him in the middle.
I will say, I guess we've all like picked lineups before, haven't we? We've all like been in charge of running orders at one point or another. Yeah. A kind of universal technique is to bury the weakest act or like the open spot just before the headliner or in the middle. Basically, you close with your strongest act, start with your second strongest act, and then you kind of work backwards that way. So the worst stuff is right in the middle. And that was very much so the case for this night, I would say.
Just
so
know that, James, I've always noticed that you're like somehow in the middle of all of Mark's shows whenever in Test Tube Babies.
Yeah, right before the headliner, I actually think.
Well, opening second half.
Anyway, I'm doing Mark's night on the 15th of October.
Yeah.
Right before the headliner.
You'll be there right before Shane Danburn.
Yeah. Yeah, so they really were, and it was very obvious when he saw the quality of his act.
Brother.
It was really pitiful. It was really bad.
But so Aidan Killian goes, "Now your next act, he's been waging the trans war, that he's been in the trenches. And, I've dipped my toe into that, but he's really gone into the deep end." And like everyone is like going ape shit, you know what I mean? And then it's like, "Welcome to the stage, Graham Linehan, standing ovation." Like, standing ovation for the walk.
It was crazy.
Like, I've never seen anyone get such a warm welcome.
Never in my life.
And within
me and
2
James were sat in the
minutes-
front row, and
Yeah.
everyone around us was standing up. It felt so fucking weird, man.
Yeah.
Like I nearly stood up. I mean,
I know, like, it was just, you felt so obvious.
I'd seen a video where there was a standing ovation, and I was like looking in the front row to see if I could see your silhouettes. Just out of, I knew it'd only be out of awkwardness, but I wondered whether you stood up.
Oh, I am so terrified of a video going up. The only thing is that Andrew Doyle, Aidan Killian, when the standing ovation at the start was happening, he took a picture of
Yeah.
the crowd.
I like put my head down. I really didn't want to be seen in it.
Yeah. So like, if that picture goes up, like, we're just there, sat in the front row, like, in the front row.
God, it would be a great. I'd love to see the photo. I know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I kind of hope I am in it a little bit. Like, it's
He looks like, I've never seen a body like Graham Linehan.
I hate to comment on someone's physical appearance, but his head is huge, man.
His head is like as big as my torso.
Isn't it funny that, like, for like the most spiritually English man ever, he is the most Irish looking motherfucker ever, you know?
He doesn't even look like,
Okay.
he looks like a different species. Like, no photo does this justice.
You couldn't fit him in frame. I hear he's like massive. I hear he's like 7 foot tall.
I was saying, I've seen this video of a guy who's in an iron lung, and he looks like that. Like if that guy just stood up and walked on stage.
Yeah.
Because like, his body is so skinny. And then he has this like, like Rayman.
Yes, yeah.
You know Rayman's torso? Like,
Yeah,
he has that beamed
Bulb.
sort of shaped torso.
Yeah.
And then his head is like
An Easter Island head, like
huge.
it's just
It's indescribable how
it's
big
as
it is.
wide
so
as it
big,
is
man.
tall.
It's
It's
huge.
so huge. Like, it defies proportion. He's like the proportions of a toddler. You know what I mean? And he's 6'8". Like, so that shows you how big his head is.
No, he's giant. He's a giant.
And his face is crooked on his head.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Oh, you know in Futurama where they clone Farnsworth, and then he's like, his nose is pressed up against the glass,
Oh yeah.
and then he just has
Yeah.
like a kind of weird looking nose.
He reminds me of Game of Thrones. There's
Hodor.
the the one the guy they bring back from the dead and they put him in a suit of
The
armor.
mountain, yeah.
He's like that. Like, literally like
He
that.
absorbed several twins in the womb.
Yeah. Like outside of the womb. Like, he just ate them afterwards. And it was probably the worst comedy set I've ever seen.
It was
Wow.
really bad. He was so
Wow.
quivering and so nervous.
Yeah.
And
like,
it's so funny because he got up on stage and he was like, obviously this is the end of their 3-day tour of like Southwest Dublin, I suppose. I don't know.
Yeah.
and he goes, he's got the microphone and his hand is shaking. It's going fucking 90. And he's like, yeah, like I was kind of thinking that I was going to maybe quit stand up after these 3 shows, but I think I've actually got a bit of a knack for it. And he's just, and then obviously the crowd goes ape shit. Like the crowd is fucking wilding out for this. And
yeah, they were like, no, don't give it up.
keep
When he was
going.
Yeah. And And then within 2 minutes, he was nearly in tears. Like it's impossible to describe how nervous he was.
Because you know the way you'll get like stand-up advice, people will give you tips. He kept saying what tips he was receiving. So he was like, "Oh, the lad said that I should step forward, not step backwards." So then he would like step forward, and then he would look at the notes, and he'd be like, "Oh, just casually looking at my notes there. Hopefully you don't see them."
Shut the fuck up.
And it was so
He's 60.
Like all those.
It was really
like
weak.
all those people who like. Yeah, all those little things you do when you start comedy, where you're like, "Oh, I have this all learned off," as you look at your notes, things like that. And you made a good point. Like the content was unremarkable, but it was all like Twitter humor.
Yeah. There was one point where he said, he had a joke about because he talks about being divorced and he talks about being fat.
He's divorced. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was like he was like Twitter keeps telling me that I'm divorced. But he was like he said that he had a pizza box, or imagining some pizza box that would say like, how about you get a salad with this? And he's like, why would no one ordering a pizza is interested in a salad or something like that? And then he said something like it would be like if the pizza box said don't eat me on it, and you'd be like, did a pizza write this? In a real kind of like, did a shrimp fry this rice? Like it was just
Mark,
like,
I'm trying to find out about Graham Linehan's set, not Carl Spain circa 2008.
He actually didn't broach trans stuff at all.
Wow.
No, not at all. And I'd say they were disappointed with that.
Yeah.
He talked about masks a little bit, but not even in like a pro-mask way, I would say. Or like an anti-mask way.
No, he was just like, aren't they mad, sort of thing.
Yeah. Some of his stuff was like, that's a fun sketch idea, I guess, you know?
Yeah, so, the pizza thing was like, he ordered a pizza and it said, enjoy me with a salad. And then he's like, did the pizza write that? And he's like, if I was a pizza, I'd write, don't eat me. But then people might be like, did the pizza write that? And then he did that for a bit. And then he had a thing about like,
dating?
Imagine if we were all cows, we lived in a field. And
climate change activists were like, you can't, like, we can't do what? And then he's like, all the right-wing cows would start farting more just to spite them. And all the left-wing cows would be like wearing masks.
On their ass.
Damn, man. That's tough. Like, what you're saying this, because I was like, because that pizza thing is kind of absurdist. And then I was like, yeah, I remember he wrote on Big Train. I remember he wrote on like Brass Eye. And do you remember he had several sitcoms that were of like varying degrees of success? One is obviously Father Ted. It's just incredibly influential and is like prized in Ireland. And then it's like, you suddenly started talking about that and I was like, fuck, that's grim. That's so grim to be like, the audience I'm performing for now, let me come up with an absurdist joke for them. Yeah, these days they probably have the fucking cows who, you know, are contributing to climate change, which isn't real, and they probably have masks over their arses. And you're like, God, man, that's tough. That's tough.
There was one bit that he did that I thought was kind of funny because it really like the crowd really didn't get it. Where he was talking about seeing, because he's divorced now, so he's talking about going, like, being on dates and stuff, and how he had a woman back at his flat, and he's like, you know, like, I think I keep the place pretty clean. You know, people say divorced dads will be very messy and it'll get dirty, and he's like, I wouldn't go around with a white glove or anything, but it's tidy enough. And then he was like, I had this woman come over, and I was so embarrassed because I'd accidentally left a poo. And then the crowd goes like, ah! But like, the joke was like, I left a poo in the bath. And they completely like missed. The punchline is that he would be shitting in the bath, you know? The punchline isn't just shit. Like, they're like, ha, yeah, that's shit, nice. Whereas the joke is, I shit in my bath, you know? It's not that I shit. Like, it's...
That's so fucking awful. One time I saw, like, at the Halfpenny, there was, like, a bunch of people performing, as they normally were. But anyway, this crowd, these 3 people came in, and they were just shit-faced, and they just had normal jobs, and they just came up to have like comedy be the ambient noise, you know? And they were just talking over everybody's fucking sets, and people were getting very agitated, and there was no way that you could shame them, because if you were like, oh, these guys won't shut up, they didn't care. They just kept talking because they couldn't, like, you know. But at one point Eleanor Tiernan was performing, and then at one point she used the word cunt, and they just burst out laughing, and she went, yeah, I thought she'd like that. And I was just like, but it's that same thing where it's just like, so, it's just so. But imagine those are the only laughs that you're getting. The only laughs you can expect to get from now on are from these, like, again, Andrew Doyle is completely correct. It's like, these people are my intellectual inferiors, and they're my only audience, and I have to cater to them forever, because otherwise I won't be able to pay my fucking mortgage. All because I just won't stop fucking posting. You know, it's like...
Yeah.
Like, I sorry, but it's worth repeating as well that you could have all the opinions that Graham Linehan has, and they will give you regular columns in The Guardian. All you need to do is not tweet every 10 seconds and call everybody you encounter a pedophile. That's all you need to do, and he can't do that. And then he gets up there and he starts trembling and nearly crying and say, the trans people stole everything from me, and it's just like, you need to be treated, man. And you don't understand that, you know?
Yeah, he actually, like, he seemed terrified, like he was going to piss himself. But I thought he seemed sort of, like, joyful or something. Like,
I think he loves doing it.
You know the way normally he gets way too angry to make a joke?
Yeah.
That wasn't happening.
I think I think he really does feel like the love and support of the crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've never gotten a standing ovation in my life, you know? I can't imagine walking on and getting that kind of reception. It must feel crazy.
Yeah. He got way more, like, applause breaks and cheers and laughs.
Yeah,
you know
which enraged the the final act.
Oh, the next act. The final thing with Graham Linehan is that he just froze at the end.
You're serious,
like,
really?
He was like, I don't know. I've done all my jokes.
Yeah. He was like, I'm doing quite well. I've gotten through all of them. And it's like, I would not say that getting through all of your material before your time is up is a good sign. Like, that has never been a good thing in a set.
And then he was just like, I don't know how to get off stage. Like, he was saying this. And then he's like, I don't know what to talk about. And then someone in the audience gives him the easiest layup.
Yeah.
Like, just softball directly into the hand. They go, what about the Haitians eating dogs?
Yeah.
And, like, all you have to do is go, you know, they do be eating dogs, you know? Stand ovation, walk off stage. He goes, I don't know what to say about that because I haven't thought about it.
Right.
Yeah, he's like, I haven't thought about it, so I don't have any material. And that was his kind of escape of that crowd work. It was pretty good.
Like,
yeah.
But think about, like,
just walked off stage.
Your mates. You got, like, celebrity mates. You have, like, you know, you used to, and now your life's destroyed, obviously, okay? But, like, you're like, oh, my peers, these people that supported me in my, crusades in the positive way, not the negative way. Like, I am, like, out there fighting for women's rights, and you know what? It's not perfect, but, you know, and then he stands up there and he's feeling the warmth of the crowd. And then they go, what about this racist talking point that I believe? And he's just like, it's just like, it must be such a, like, come back down to earth, you know, all the joy of the stand. He goes, just, like, try to ignore it. Just get off stage. Don't think about it. Just enjoy the applause. Don't think about the awful bigots who are just howling at, you know, every banal observation that you just put up there. Yeah.
Don't think about the hands.
Yeah.
There was, like, the kind of final thing that he did, which I think is the greatest moment for me, was when he started off by being like, I thought I was going to quit after these 3 gigs, but I think I've actually got a bit of a knack for it. And then he finishes up by being like, I said at the start that I wasn't going to quit, but I lied. I think this will actually be my last show.
Did he say that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought you were messing. I thought you were like, no. It sounded like something he would say, but...
No, he was so pathetic. It was so sad, man. It was just like... someone absolutely... I'd imagine the imposter syndrome must be crazy, you know, to get a standing ovation and then eat shit for 10 minutes and then get a second standing ovation when you leave.
Yeah. Like, it was great to just see how broken he was.
Yeah.
You know? Like, his brain is misfiring, and his world must just be so incomprehensible.
He's
you know
just,
what I mean?
he's so
he's like not
painful.
doing well, man.
Sounds awful. Sounds like a Make-A-Wish kid, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, as in, now my dream is to do stand-up before I died to an adoring audience, and then everyone's like, yay, there he is, it's our boy, it's our very good boy, and we love him. And then he goes up, did you ever notice how men and women are different? And then everyone's like, yay. And then you get to go back to a hotel room all by yourself where you can jump on the bed and you can eat McDonald's for every meal, you know.
Yeah. There was one of the... Oh, yeah, you mentioned Neil Gaiman.
Yeah, he mentioned him.
Yeah, what was... Yeah, there was a joke around that, and I didn't really get it.
He was just like, Neil Gaiman was cancelled, so serves him right, sort of thing.
He was like, Neil Gaiman's 72, and he was with like a 20-something-year-old.
Yeah.
And then he said something...
Yeah, I didn't
I
get...
zoned
he was
out.
like,
I don't know, I missed it.
I hope people don't find out about all the 52-year-olds I was fucking.
Yeah, something like that. But I don't get that.
I like the thing that's funny is that he like, so they have this thing where they're like, I've been cancelled. The press destroyed me. The press did this. And then somebody else gets cancelled and they're like, yeah, fuck you, man. It serves you right. No, you were just, you know, you thought that these guys liked you, but now you're cancelled by them. Oh, so you know what I mean? It's kind of like, is that not? I know that they're different things, so I get actually. You know what? Scratch that point. I don't think that it's a contradiction, but it's just interesting to me how much they hate the idea of cancellation, and then how much they enjoy the idea of cancellation at the exact same time. You know, they revel in it and hate it simultaneously. So what's up? How did it end? You know, he just walked off.
He got a standing ovation. Yeah, he left and he got a standing ovation.
Another standing O.
And then there was a break before the headliner.
Yeah, the headliner who everyone knew.
Loads of people left at that point. By the way, like
that's so funny.
A big chunk of the crowd left after Graham.
Yeah, I'd say a third.
That's so good.
Yeah, and then we had this guy. Is it Lewis or Louis?
I think it was Louis Schaefer.
Yeah, Louis Schaefer, an American comic.
Jewish
and Aidan Killian was like so excited to introduce him. It was very funny because every now and then these guys will like kind of express a real sincerity and a real like they really do want to cry on stage. It's crazy.
Yeah.
He was like, when I was starting off in Edinburgh and I was like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I was on a lineup and I was so excited. I was on this alt lineup and you see all these people doing these things and you think, wow, like they really have something to say, And there was this guy and he was killing it. And I think he said all this just to be like, what a huge day this is for me to be welcoming this guy that I loved onto the stage. And then I think he did some kind of like Jewish jokes or something just before he went on to really just like fuck up the vibe. It was really...
Yeah, they're really harsh Jewish jokes. Yeah, like it was, and he's like, I just did these because he's Jewish.
There was one point where he just goes like... He goes, it was so fucking lame. He was like doing this Jewish joke and then he goes, oh, okay. Abortion. No. And then he goes, fuck it, let's do it. Like in a real kind of like, let's rock.
He was really feeling himself by that.
This is Aidan, is it?
Like,
yeah. Fuck it, let's do it.
But the reason I was having trouble with this, because he was saying, oh, anti-Semitism is awful and I never make fun of the Holocaust. Anyway, here's this fucking Jew and I got some fucking bangers for you here. Straight from the big, thick joke book of like offensive stuff from 1973. Do you know what I mean? Like it's going to be like, you know, the copper wire shit and all that, you know?
Yeah, it just didn't add up at all. Like, and then Louis Schaefer came on, and I would say this was the most intense 20 minutes of my life. Like, it was like being in, like, Guantanamo Bay. You know what I mean? Like, it was like a, what do they call it? Like a stressor position, you know? Because, like, again, we're sat up front, and he comes out, and, like, I don't know, with the English guy, who, Jacob Colgan, I think people just saw him as English. Whereas with this guy, they saw him, and you could just feel in everyone's head, they were like, Jew. Like, just in, like, bold font. They were like, Jew.
There was
He's like a real New York
man.
guy. And, like, there was just... The audience were not receptive. And then first thing he comes out is he's like, I've never been to Scotland before, or wherever the fuck I am.
Yeah.
And like,
Nice.
I think throughout his thing, you were getting pockets of people who are laughing, but then pockets of people who are like getting ready to kick off. You know?
It was getting rowdy. At this point, it's like nearly 11 o'clock. It's, people are probably pretty drunk, I would say, at this point. It was some loud pockets in the audience that was left.
I'd say there was definitely coke. I don't know, flying around the room. Like, it was just a weird atmosphere. And he's like, actually, let me make a note. Get my notes up. He also didn't know who Graham Lennon was. Like,
that was so funny. He kept calling him like Gareth and shit. It was so funny.
Yeah, like, it really didn't seem like
him.
he was... What?
No, you say call him Gareth. I was like, you're not allowed. Don't confuse me with him.
And like, part of it was like, he made some references that made it clear he knew about Graham, but he also did keep just messing up his name and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
he was like, he wrote a couple of plays for Irish TV or some shit. He was very dismissive.
Busting your balls, I'm just busting your balls.
But I think he was quite mad that like he got a standing ovation, got such a big reception, and was so shit. Like, he was upset about the craft there. I think he was like, that was a bad comedian, and you were just like lapping it up, and now you hate me, and you've all left before I'm going on.
He was really pissed off coming on stage.
It's a great energy to bring to the whole proceedings.
Yeah. And then he like, there's so many funny bits in his set. And then he like gets off the mic.
Yeah, he comes down into the crowd.
Yeah.
No, leave me alone.
That was really when it became torturous. Like, it was very scary.
Yeah. Yeah, it became really weird. And he was like running around the room and stuff. He's also like a 70-year-old man. We should say that, right? He's like 67. Yeah. Yeah. He also kept pointing at me. And he kept going, this guy's not laughing. Like, he'd be like,
no,
putting his hand on my shoulder. And like, I was saying, if Graham Linehan did that, I'd be dead. Like, they would literally have killed me.
That would be the kiss of death.
This guy's not laughing. Kill. Like, they pulled me apart. Like that dog in the Ozzy Osbourne crowd.
You'd have been kicked out. You'd have just been dragged out of the building.
I would have been strung up. Like, whereas this guy, I think I got away with it because people were like, oh yeah, you know, he probably just doesn't like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they didn't assume it was ideological, but he kept saying it. He was like,
you got the least smiley guy in the front row, and then he turned to me and he was like, and you got a guy who looks like he's from one of Graham's TV shows.
Yeah.
Crazy fucking shit that's in Graham's head. We're seeing it in the room tonight. He looks so fucking weird. He can only even come up with the most fucked up comedy mind.
He looks like freaking Moss.
Yeah.
He looks like Rory from the It Crowd. You know?
Yeah.
He looks like the famous Matthew Behrens playing the boss in the It Crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably got a trans girlfriend too. Just like...
Yeah. But actually said
trans girlfriends are fucking...
He actually said you were gay.
Yeah, he said I was gay.
He was like, your boyfriend right next to you There's like fat old guy, and then he really locked on to the fat guy who worshipped Herbert Kelly. It was like if the fat guy had been like a human being, like that wasn't just completely, you would have felt sorry for him. But it was like so out of pocket. Like he literally looked at him. He was like, you are so fat. He was like, you're disgusting. Like he's not even like smiling when he's saying this. He said, he goes, what medication are you on? Like he doesn't go like, are you on or are you sick? He's like, what are you on? The guy's like, I'm not on anything.
What's keeping you alive, bro?
Yeah, you can see his face just being like, what? Like you need to be on something because you look fucked. He's just like
I paid
£25.
I paid €25 to be here. Do you know?
Yeah, and he's getting like ripped to shit in front of his hero, by the way, in front of Herbert Kelly, who sat right next to him. And then he goes,
I love it. Yeah.
Well, then he goes, get up. He goes to it. He goes, get up, stand up, let everybody see what you look like. Like
no
just
way.
Like it was crazy. Like he's at this guy for like 5 minutes.
It was so
and the guy's
good.
just like sitting in silence. Like he's just like has his hand up. He's like trying to shield himself. And like it was so messed up. Like
Jesus Christ. Like we went there and we were like, well, we didn't go there. You went there. But the idea was that we're going to go there because we hate these guys. But it turns out nobody hates them more than their own audience. Or than their own... Anyway. Nobody hates them more than the acts on stage.
Well, he did say... Like, Louis Schaefer did say, like... He's like, you're all here at this Unhinged show. And he's pointing up at the sign. He's like, you're at this Comedy Unleashed thing. You're all fucking idiots. Like, he really hated them. He really didn't like them.
Yeah.
And I was looking him up just before we started recording, and he does Comedy Unleashed pretty regularly in the UK, or at least seems to. And he seems to get a similar reception. Like it's really weird. I don't think, like I was like maybe he's just doing this really loose set because loads of people left, and he's like, fuck it, I'm not doing my material. But he seems to just always do this kind of rambling thing where there's not really any jokes in it, and he's just kind of loud and from New York.
Yeah, like he wasn't funny. And it didn't even feel like he was trying to be funny. Like there were some bits where he was making jokes, but there's a lot of just ranting.
There was a crazy bit where he was talking about like how there's only 15 million Jews, and he's like, how many Muslims are they? And everyone in the audience is like 2 billion. Like everyone knows the numbers. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then he's like, Jews have won this many Nobel Prizes. He's like, do you know how many Nobel Prizes the Muslims have won? And then I think it was like Herman Kelly or someone beside him goes, 4. And it was really weird because it was like,
yeah,
I
like
was looking
they'd done
it up
their
then.
research. Like,
I was Googling afterwards. I was like, how many Muslims have won Nobel Prizes? And I think it's more than 4, first of all. But like, I didn't know why. Like it felt like a punchline. It felt like when he said 4, that there are 4 Muslims in people's minds, you know, that they think of when they like. It feels like this is a joke. This is a reference that I don't get. But the whole thing was to be like, look at how few they've won. They're so stupid, given their numbers compared to like Jewish population.
You know, like an award made by white people for people. It's like saying like, how come, you know, look at how there's so many black people in the world and yet none of them are Pope. What the fuck? There must be something wrong with them that God hasn't chosen them. It's like, you know.
Yeah. I felt like people weren't. How do you feel like his anti-Palestinian stuff went down?
Oh, really? He did some anti-Palestinian stuff.
Well, like he was told about, he was like you know, Israel surrounded on all sides by enemies. And he was like Israel, you know, they're just trying to build houses. Like it's a war over like property development. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, he's like he said like we're just building houses in the West Bank. Which was weird to say.
Was he kind of being self-effacing?
Yeah.
Like, oh no, we're just taking their land. No, okay.
No, not at all.
Wow.
But he was very like, towards the end he was getting a bit serious, and he's like, look, a country is a country. I just believe a country is a country. And he's like, people in England, they'll be like, oh, we're English or whatever. He's like, no, you're Anglo-Saxon. Real British people are in Wales. So he's like focused on kind of local politics from thousands and thousands of years ago. Like that, I think he's bought into that argument of like, we were there first if you go back far enough. Like it's very strange. And then I think it was just odd to be like, Anglo-Saxon English people or like British people are oppressed people in Wales. You know, it was very odd. And I don't know if the crowd knew what to make of it. He said he was into like racial separatism or something like that.
Yeah, but do you remember before that he was like, sorry, when he got into the crowd, where he jumped into the crowd and was running around, someone in the audience, when he got into the crowd, he was running around and people were getting a bit nervy. And one guy shouted out, he's having a Jewish meltdown. Which is, like, that was the reception he was getting. Like, it was just like, what is this Jew doing? And then he's like, you know, you guys, you invaded other countries. You know, you're not wanting to talk. He's like, you're getting invaded, but you invaded other places. And
I think people thought,
people thought he was like, oh, he thinks he's in England again. And he was like, no, like, Irish, you're all over New York. And he's like, and someone goes, we built New York. And he goes,
that's good.
That's called having a job. So
got us there.
I think he kind of
hates. By the end of it, like, I was getting real stressed out by this. I was just like, someone could just kick his ass. You know what I mean? We might see that.
Yeah, there was he kept talking, like, a lot of his material was focused on like how he used to be fat, and that's why he was really laying into that guy beside me. He was like, how old are you, you fat fuck? Like, he was like, I was fat 10 years ago, like, there's no excuse, blah blah blah. And it was just really strange. Like, there was a real like self-hating in him. And then he was like, you just gotta eat meat, you just gotta eat like a caveman. Like, that was kind of the vibe off him, right? He was saying how you just eat all meat and you're fine. I don't know, he was very strange. It was very odd.
He was talking about like seed oils and stuff. Like, he was nearly like a Red Scare podcast subscriber. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, he was saying how like all the stuff in the crops is bad for you, and I'm like, I don't think that applies. I think that's like an American problem. I don't think that happens here. Like,
yeah,
he was like close to talking about Monsanto. You know, it was like, oh, that's not.
Yeah,
we don't have that.
And then his like final bit. Like, he was getting flashed for ages. You know what I mean? Like, Aidan Killian was like, get off stage. And he's like, I believe in racial separatism. And he was being like, one race for one country. Like, you don't want to go to the Amazon jungle and see white people. You know, you don't want to, you want, sort of being like, Israel deserves a country. Yeah, Jews deserve a country. But like, the way he phrased it was like, I believe in racial segregation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was his closing comment.
And he did the opposite. Like, the crazy thing was when Andrew was saying how like, it's all just jokes, it doesn't mean anything. He closed on the opposite. He was like, this shit's real. Like, he was very much so, this stuff means something. It's important that we have this. Like, this is crucial. And I was like, you guys all... I guess maybe that's the point. Look, they're not meant to all agree with each other, but like, I thought their ethos on comedy was meant to be the same, at least. You know, I thought they were meant to have a kind of uniform feeling on what stand-up is, or what it is to society, or like what it's meant to contribute. But they didn't really seem to align on that at all, and it just really just confuse each other. There was one point where an audience member tried to heckle him. Because he called another man fat too, and he got him to stand up, and he made him stand up, the bald guy. And then he tried to make a joke where he was like, he said something like, "Oh, you're on a
What
diet.
was it?
What's a Jewish diet? Concentration camp." But like he cut him off before he could say camp, so he just said concentration, and then the other guy just kept talking.
Yeah.
It was very like, I'm sure there's a rich depth of Jewish jokes in that audience. You know, I think.
Yeah, big time. But I just thought it was really interesting how like the audience when Israel was mentioned, they'd be like cheering, but like they didn't like Jews. You know.
Yeah. He said that he was 100% Ashkenazi Jew at one point. He was like, I did a DNA test and I'm 100% Ashkenazi. And I don't know how that went over. Did people like that? Did people care about that? Do people know what that is?
Like, yeah, they was like, oh, that's the type of Jew, like sort of.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't mean anything to them. Yeah, but by the end of it, like, yeah, the crowd were pretty riled up. You know, I was probably freaked by the end of it. Only because he kept pointing at me.
Yeah, and when he
kept coming back to me.
When he was wrapping up, he like shook the hands of the guys in the front row that he had to go.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
and he was like reaching out his hand. He didn't try to shake my hand, but then he reached out to James's hand, and James like James paused for a minute, and then like really reluctantly grabbed it.
I know. I was like, he just stood right in front of me and put out his hand, and I just held for as long as I could, and then I did it. Shook the man's hand.
It's crazy.
What could you do? I'm sorry, like, you know, I'm just I know we brought it on ourselves, but you still just got to get out of there in one piece.
So then that was it. Aiden Keeling got on, said thanks, and then the gig was over.
Great.
Yeah.
Then we were going down to the car. The fat guy who got humiliated got into the lift with us with his wife. His wife was there.
Yeah.
And,
She was like, he was like rubbing his shoulder, going, "It's okay, it's okay. We'll be in the car in a minute."
He looked really shocked, and then he looked at us and he was like, "I don't think that." He was like, "That Lewis Schaefer guy was shit, wasn't he?" Like, so he was trying to get us to be like, "Yeah, bullshit," you know, like. We were just sort of like, I don't know, like we didn't want to talk to him.
It's funny, you go like, "No, actually, I thought he made some interesting points." You know.
Yeah, something you really needed to hear, man.
Maybe you should go to the doctor, bro.
Yeah.
Look at that cholesterol or something. You need medication, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, that was it.
That's so fucking bleak. God damn.
It was a crazy night.
It was insane. It really was. I feel like maybe we haven't done it justice, but like it was really mad.
I don't think you can probably do it justice in the one sitting. We got enough of the information, but this will probably come up again once or twice at least.
The thing is, like we were so desperately trying to like write things down in between, and it's hard to remember sets.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But no, it was mad. It was really, really, really strange, really intense.
It's funny because, like, it seems that, like, the politics part of it probably wasn't as present as just the toxic vibes that maybe are permeating the country at the moment. Do you know, that kind of, like, a lot of hatred and a lot of, like, they feel fairly impotent and it makes them even angrier. So they just kind of, like... Yeah, it just feels very tragic, sort of disgusting, to be honest.
I feel like they were really baying for blood, like the audience wanted more.
Yeah.
Yeah. It made it all feel much more real to me. You know what I mean? Like, you know when you read about, like, these protests, like the far-right stuff, or, like, the stuff in Kulak, it's like, it really made the people seem real, you know? As opposed to just, like, a vague mob. It was like, oh no, these people, you know, have some sort of interior thing going on. And, you know, and they have like yeah, they're individuals who have come together.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah, they're not they're real people, and they all like have jobs and go about their lives pretty normally.
Yeah.
You know, like they're all just pottering around, and there was no like visual tell. You know, like they weren't. I don't know. They didn't have like weird purple eyes or something. Like there was no way to spot them in a crowd. They truly walk among us.
Yeah, they really do.
Like there were some insane looking ones, but like no more insane than what you'd see. Like I wouldn't say every insane looking person is going to be like a right wing headbanger, you know. I wish there was some kind of. I wish they'd get some sort of uniform. I don't know, some sort of Hugo Boss uniform. I don't know, but like, it was weird. It was disconcerting, and the size of the crowd was upsetting. Considering it was 3 nights on the trot, like, I don't know if another gig could generate that kind of buzz. Like, could a gig that is the antithesis of Gripped do 3 nights in a row in like suburbs of Dublin?
No, I don't think so.
Not like that, right?
No,
like
no.
it's just not as charged.
Well, I don't know if like
on the other
there's
side.
the audience that are there are also very online and very motivated by culture war stuff. Do you know? Like, I mean, I don't know if you could get them for like. But like, let's say compare it to like the protests in support of, or the demonstrations in support of Gaza. Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe we should be grateful that these people are like, I can get out to a comedy night, but I'm not getting out to like a big. Well, they are also doing that, so never mind. I take it back. You know, like, it's awful the whole way around. But like, I think like, you know, if you were to do a night like that in the city, then you'd be able to get people to come to it. But I don't know. Yeah,
it's very disconcerting.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
This thing just keeps dropping out for me. Are you still there?
We're still here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're still here.
It just there's all these parts where it kept like dropping out. Ah, shit, and then there's just this like silence where everybody's just sitting here feeling like shit, and I was like, it fucking dropped again, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
While I was recording on my phone, I ran out of data over here. Now they're gonna charge me Brit fucking money.
Oh shit.
A real pound
terrible.
sterling, motherfucker, to be able to be on the internet.
Yeah.
No podcasts and no Google Maps for me. It's fucking bullshit.
God.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was Comedy Unleashed. Is there what's our takeaway? Do we have a Jerry Springer style wrap up? Where do we go? What have we learned here today?
God, I don't know. It is bleak, you know.
Yeah.
And it's not even like the comedians weren't that bad, you know, in terms of the stuff that they were saying. It's just
that you agreed.
The people that were there, the audience was crazy, man.
Yeah.
And I don't think that any of those comics, other than like Aidan Killian and Graham Linehan, like they don't need to be doing that, you know. Like it is really a choice, and they're just making such a weird shout for their own sake. Like I don't know how they view that as. Like if you view it as like a self, like maybe they're just real believers, you know. Like maybe they're just real believers, and they like doing these. They'd rather do these shit gigs for hordes of dickheads than like a decent show.
I know,
you know?
yeah. Kind of reminds me of like when Louis C.K. like committed those sex crimes that caught up with him. And there was this kind of thing, oh, he's the truth teller, so wait until he has some Richard Pryor style special where he'll come back and he'll kind of go, yeah, you know, and I've done some thinking and I fucked up and blah, blah, blah. And then what he ends up doing is just going, no, I'm just going to perform to like Legion of Skanks, just the most this audience of people who are going to pay me regardless, you know?
Yeah.
There's no bravery in it. There's nothing like that. It's just a retreat, and it's sad and it's pathetic, but it's also like when the audience, like you say, is the most concerning part, where it's just like, I hate the idea of all these people coming together, first of all, and enjoying things, but also that they might like start forming bigger crowds of people to do even more fucking shitty things, like especially with Gripped and all that. But whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
and like as I say, you see your man like Herman Kelly, and he looks like someone who, like, if you weren't informed, someone could throw a number to him. You know what I mean? Like he's not fringe looking. I think there's plenty of like middle class centrist people that would like sooner throw like 7 or 8 to him than like some PvP people. You know what I mean? Like it's he looks kind of like well-to-do, proper, like, and that was upset. Like that was just my kind of first. Like,
well, the difference is you have to hear him talk for like 2 seconds. It's not, I don't know if his voice is shit, but like he is insane. And I mean, a lot of the people in that room, you could be like, this room is packed, and it's like, there's 3 nights that they did, and these are the people who've come from all over the country as well. Like, there's no way that it was just people in Dublin, you know? Like,
but the accents were all over. Yeah, and there was so that at least felt positive. Yeah, there probably are positives to take. Like, I think when you're there and you're getting a concentrated dose of it, you think, "Oh my god, like this is what it is now."
Yeah,
like this is the zeitgeist. But then like, this is a special event, you know. This is a once off. This is they're kind of putting everything behind getting these people here, and they're not like they're able to get like 70 people, which I know sounds like a lot, but 70 people in Dublin when you have. Consider how many Father Ted comedians, like people that were in 10 minutes of one episode, how many tickets that they can push. Compared to this, it's really not that significant.
Pat McDonald is getting a 70 room, and he's like, you know,
he's in it for like 3 seconds. Yeah.
No, he's not. He played Owen McGlove, but you know, which is a pretty good character. But ultimately, like, it's like you're dining out on that for now. What, nearly 30 years, and you still get people to show up for you, you know?
It's like Graham isn't really able to capitalize the same way off the back of 3 of like the most successful sitcoms in Irish history, you know? If you were to, you know,
the Walshes, Count Arthur Strong, what's a third one that he did that was shit? Motherland. That's shite. I'm sorry, it is.
Cougar Town.
So yeah, that's you heard it here first, folks. 10 bags of popcorn out of 10. Don't walk, run to the next Comedy Unleashed event, and or its closest approximation, which is Test Tube Babies, and that's on maybe after I have edited and uploaded this episode.
That's true.
But yeah.
Do you think like, okay, so obviously there was 2 of us there.
Yeah.
2 of us woke lefties there. Is there a world where you could assemble a ragtag crew of people and like, I don't know, there's no point in doing something like that where it's like, let's get like 20 people to go and like boo or be disruptive, like you'd just be removed, and you would have ended up giving them like 500 quid, you know, like there's no point.
You could stand outside the venue if you found out and like protest it, but then at the same time they just film it and put it on their social media. So
they're so cute with the venue though. It doesn't get dropped.
Yeah,
it's also better to have like the clip of him with like 70 people applauding in a pathetic hotel room, as opposed to like filming you on their phone protesting, and then they just go, the shit that we say is so fucking dangerous, and then you have like, you know, your auntie or somebody going like, all they're trying to do is say their point of view. It's like with Enoch Burke or something, you know, where it's like there's this weird conflation that he's like, it's freedom of speech as opposed to he's harassing a student in a school. So it's worth it. Like it, you know, I do think it's like, just using Chapo as my defense again. I think it's worth going and cataloging and seeing these weird people and laughing at them. And that's what we're doing. Like, they are fucking morons and they're sad. And then they pay 25 quid to go somewhere to a racist event and be told they're fat and go home feeling miserable. And that's the reason they wanted to go out there, is to hear some bigotry leveled at trans people from Graham Linehan, which doesn't seem like he even gave them. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
The whole thing's pathetic. And we bore witness. I mean, me secondhand. So I'm less to blame. So anyway, that's Celtic Life. Just absolving myself and just putting you two in the shit. James begged me and I said, no, I don't think this is a valuable use of the Patreon money. But I opened up the Revolut account and it was all gone. By the way, it's not coming out of the Patreon money. I want to reassure everybody that is not happening. The Patreon money is going toward a trans charity this month. We're deciding it could be there's like a trans library, there's a trans harm reduction. I'll leave it up. They're community-led organizations in Ireland and I believe Scotland also. So I think well worth supporting. So anyhow, yeah, we can decide that later. So is that it? That's it. Apple is forced to pay us 13 billion, but we don't have time to talk about that this week. So, all right.
Yeah.
Bye.